Guus, thank you so much for sitting down with me this morning. You've just come off the stage here at Shared Services and Outsourcing Week in Prague, and you were part of a panel that discussed bolt-on technologies. Before we get into that, can you define your role and your shared services operation?
Yes, I think I can. My role is I'm the director of the shared services department within PostNL. And PostNL is the national postal operator in the Netherlands, like Royal Mail in the UK.
How many staff do you have in the Netherlands?
The company has 60,000 staff in the Netherlands, and my department is 320 people. So, and what we do in our shared services, that's accounting, finance and accounting, but it's also HR. We have a BI department, we have the retail back office, the order to cash back office, so it's a multitask shared service center.
And it's within one framework, the Shared Services Center?
Yeah, we have some different locations. We are in Utrecht and Groningen, most of it. And we relocated it in a period since we started it about 12 years ago. We relocated it from 40 locations to the 3 locations there is now.
Did you say 40 locations?
Yeah, we have 40 locations.
Throughout the Netherlands?
Throughout the Netherlands, yeah.
Gosh, yeah. That's impressive.
We are all divided in business units, and all the sorting centers had their accounting department, their HR department. So we relocated that to the 2 main locations we have now. Yeah.
And your shared services are all in country, so have you considered captive offshoring?
Oh yes, yeah, it's all in the Netherlands. We're working for all the business units in the Netherlands now. But we considered outsourcing for a long period. In fact, more than 4 years. We are looking at what was the good solution for PostNL. But I think it's almost 2 years ago now that we decided in this critical period for the company, for the postal markets are changing very much, and you need a lot of reconstructing.
There's a lot of competition coming in for the traditional mail companies, if I can call you that.
Indeed, and email and internet are so important. That's good for our packages, but the classical letters are declining and very fast the last years. So the whole company is in a restructuring mode. At that moment, the decision was made by our board we need you that much. You're so important for our company that it's impossible to outsource the things you're doing.
I understand, for control reasons as much as anything else.
Yeah, really for the control reasons for the company. We have all the experience with master data. And master data is so important when you're changing a company, reorganizing functions. And we are in the mode at the time of changing HR function. Everything was changing. The new logistics infrastructure was changing. So at that moment we said, no, outsourcing, not for us, not for the next 2 to 4 years. So,
Guus, how long have you been in your role within the shared services?
I've been in the company for 32 years, and in shared services now for I think 12 to 13 years.
Okay. Yeah. Can you talk to me about the ERP system that you have in-house? You mentioned earlier to me that when you started down this journey, you had expected things to be a bit easier than they turned out to be.
Oh yes, I was really at that stage I think a bit naive. I thought we had at that time 5 or 6 different solutions for finance and accounting. And I thought at that time ERP could help us to standardize the processes. And that was true, it could partly help us standardize, and in fact it was more reliable, it was all the things ERP brought, but it was not a solution for everything. So you need much more to do.
You run SAP, do you?
Yeah, we run SAP. We started with finance and accounting, and after that we got CRM, HR, SRM, SD, all the modules of SAP.
You told me earlier when we were speaking that you have a lot, or rather you had, when you first started down this route, you had a lot of bolt-on technologies.
Yeah.
Can you talk to us about that?
Yeah, I can tell you a bit more. For when we introduced ERP, SAP in our case, we thought that will be a solution for everything. And really, I repeat the word naive, that was not true. Because in fact, there's much more than ERP. For you need something for to pay. There's you have something in between SAP and the bank. That's a special corporate payment hub you need for doing all your payments. You need also a solution for your workflow, because for accounts payable, for instance. You have to send all the bills you get to the people who has to for the authorization for this. So these are just two examples, but and the one ERP, that was also not enough. For sometimes you have acquisitions you have to bring to company standards as soon as possible, and so we need a smaller ERP solution for a cloud solution is that to introduce such a company very fast to the company standards.
So how many of these additional technologies did you have in place? If you could guess.
I think 5 to 6.
Okay.
And
you have still maintained them. So your strategy is to maintain them.
At this moment,
yes.
We are looking for our company together with our IT department for what will be the next stage after SAP ERP. We are looking at SAP by Design as a solution. So we know already that's not a solution for everything. So that's just, we had this week a workshop about this subject. So I think that will be on our agenda in the next 2 years. What will be the choices we have to make as a company for, I think, for all solutions we have, including the PETs.
What do you think were the main takeaways, if you had to say 3 main points that you took away from the panel discussion that you were in? What could you share with someone about the learnings on PETs?
Now, one of the learnings is from you have always to look really good thinking about it. For will it really help you? Do you need something that's easy and also from your SAP? Or do you need something separate? But then it's always more difficult than you expect to click it to your ERP system. That's the most important lesson, I think. And the second one is from, will it really help make the processes more easier, faster, more straight-through processing? That's the second one. And always think from, well, is it a solution for everything? For you always have the special business units with special wishes. Our packages business unit is not in everything the same as our letter business unit. And we have a transport company that's always has some specialties. So you really need good thinking.
It seemed that the audience wasn't terribly convinced, because I was surprised by the last poll that we took. I think it was it 34% of the audience who said that they were not convinced that this kind of bolt-on technology would really serve to drive their F&A services up to the next level through transformation.
Yeah,
I was expecting that to be a much lower number.
Yeah, Me too. I was surprised. Yeah, it was difficult to see. For,
yeah,
for
well,
us
I
on the
can tell
screen.
you, I was looking, but you know, that could be it could be apathy,
Yeah.
or perhaps the industry. You know, the provider industry is overestimating the extent to which people want to take on the challenges of these additional implementations. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's true. That's also our experience. We spent a lot of time the last years to looking what are other companies doing. For case of interest, for case for what can we learn about this. But they were in fact more conservative, is that the exact
Yes,
word?
of course.
Than I expected. They were happy with what they are doing and very self-confident of their own results.
Yeah.
So
Better the devil you know than
yeah,
Yes,
that's
I think
true.
that's the
Better
expression.
know than yeah.
What are your priorities in-house, Guus, for the next couple of years in terms of your shared services? It's multifunctional. How do you think you might expand or grow it?
Now there are a few things. For in fact, we have a shared service center, but it was not a decision of the company for to make it obliged for all business
Mandatory,
units.
right?
So we had, thinking in the Netherlands, I think 80% of the internal market for this. And the decision is made that we have to integrate all the business units. So that keeps us busy for now, I think, for the next 1.5 year. And the other decision is what keeps us busy. We are, because of the declining markets in the letters, we are we have to be extremely cost effective. So if standardization, if people don't want it, I should say that they must do it. So we will be very busy with standardization and more than ever look at the process flows in the whole company. So we start at the beginning of the processes in the business and look at the end of the processes also in the business. So we have to look at the whole process chain. So that is much more important, and the most important reason is we have to look at the cost. Extremely look at the cost of the processes, because in the business what we are doing is considered as overhead, and you don't want overhead in a company. That is, you want back to the core.
A lot of the discussion at this conference, though, has been about the fact that shared services perhaps shouldn't be seen as an overhead, but perhaps should be seen as a smart way of doing business, right? The discussion now is less about what does the transaction cost. The discussion is what's the solution to the business needs. So from your company's, your organization's perspective, what's your organization trying to achieve and how can you support it? Can you give me examples?
I think, for example, for instance, in HR, we are going from a company that had full-time mailmen. I think in the Royal Mail has two,
Yes.
and we are totally changing it to delivery people that working from depots. They are part-timers. In fact, at a much lower salary than the full-time.
So the
mailman.
driver is the salary cost, is it? The
That was the driver
Yes.
for the change in the company, because we are extremely looking at our cost. And what we have, and it's important for our HR shared service center, we have to help these people. They don't come at an office anymore. They're just starting from a depot. But the way we're thinking of how can we help these delivery men and many women too to get their salary at the right way, right from the beginning. We keep their hours and get their salary in time. How can we have a website where they can they put their questions on it? What kind of HR front office do they need? So that are the kind of questions we are now in. And to help the company to create a situation that our company can use to working with this kind of delivery man.
And in terms of exactly these solutions, are most of these workers, these now part-time workers, using the computer to access the information, or are they also using different devices?
Now we are looking at a solution to communicate with these people, and we have now created a solution in Salesforce. And what is important, they can to find their schedules on internet from home. And that was for the classical mailman, that was not important at all. They came at the office. And so we have now a solution for that. But the next step is for how to measure their hours and to bring it to a solution. So we have there now a classical way, what we always did with our mailman. But we have to find a solution for that.
And the technical solutions, are you building those or are you buying those in?
No, in fact, we are looking at now preferably not building. So we are buying and like a solution as Salesforce. And of course you have to customize it for the needs of your company, for the goal you want to need it for. And it's preferably not building.
Yeah. Well, so a company like yours, you're really having to reinvent yourself, aren't you? The old world of letters and of people walking around has gone. You've got a tight economy. You've got a lot of competition from digital media. Do you think in the years ahead you may look very different?
Oh yes, we are. The accent is changing from delivering letters to delivering packages. So that's growing because of all internet sales. But it's also a different company. Indeed, the whole company is changing. For that goal of delivering the packages, we have now subcontractors. And for the classical delivering of mail, we had no subcontractors. We even didn't know what subcontractors were. But now we are working with thousands of subcontractors, and that has a special need to handle them. So, and we are thinking about subcontractors for other goals. So that's changing the company, but also change the way you're accounting, the way you handle your HR. And that's so very important for our shared service center too.
Guus, thank you so much for taking the time to sit down with me.
It was a real pleasure for me, Barbara. It was good to meet you personally at this time, at this place. Thank you.
Thank you.